It's time to start that small business. This is the Business Owner's Toolkit. Now, Greg Corumbus.
Thanks for being with us this week. Coming up, my conversation with Entrepreneur GJ Reynolds, the man behind the 90-Day Challenge. But up first, our top takeaway for your small business with John Duoba.
This is the Business Owner's Toolkit.
Hello, business owners. Summer is heading into its final weeks. Sure, there's still plenty of time left to enjoy summer fun, but the change of seasons is coming, and you need to prepare your business for it. Last week, we discussed how the federal government targets 23% of its contracts to be filled by small businesses, and we urge small business owners to focus on their company's strengths when preparing to bid on government contracts. Today, we'll outline some of the important steps when trying to land a contract. At Toolkit.com, we recommend that you think like the government. Think of its needs, not what you can produce. Go to fbo.gov and check out some of those current needs. Try to adopt the government's mindset and then match it up to your company's strengths. Then, if you think you are ready to take the plunge, take that mindset to the Central Contractor Registration website at ccr.gov and register your company to bid on future opportunities. Once registered, you can begin bidding on contracts, but we urge you to do your homework first. Once you find a lead, get a bid package from the appropriate contracting officer. Be sure to carefully review the bid for requirements and technical specs. Once you agree to deliver something to the feds, they will be pretty particular about getting it exactly the way they want it. Then submit your bid, following the process that they outline. Any deviation can get you tossed from the bidding. Also, be ready to explain your company's commitment to quality assurance standards. You may be asked to do a pre-award survey so the contracting officer knows that you can handle the job properly. Besides tips, examples, case studies, and links to contracting resources, Toolkit.com covers government contracting from A to Z, including dispute resolution and getting paid. Finally, be sure to look up your local PTAC. These are Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, usually found on nearby college campuses. This free counseling service is funded by the feds and helps you to succeed in government contracting, and helps the feds to achieve their goal of 23% of contracts being awarded to small businesses. I'm John Duoba, publisher of Business Owner's Toolkit, and that's the Toolkit top takeaway for your small business. Good luck and good fortune.
Our guest this week on Business Owner's Toolkit is GJ Reynolds, who goes simply by G. He is a longtime entrepreneur, has been successful in many different fields, and is currently behind the 90-Day Challenge, which we'll talk about in great detail in just a little bit of time. You can find him online at gjreynolds.net. And G, thanks very much for your time today.
Well, thanks a lot for having me, Greg.
Absolutely. This is just the latest entrepreneurial venture for you, and what we usually like to do is just kind of get a quick roadmap of where your entrepreneurial journey started and how it got you to where you are. I know your road has been very, very interesting. How did you get the bug, and how did you figure out how this whole thing works?
Well, I got the bug in 1991, and I worked for a small little company, which is now called Verizon. And so I was working for corporate America, and I kept seeing all these layoffs, mergers, acquisitions, and I knew one day my number was going to come up. And so I was like, I feel like I have a better opportunity of choosing to have the power of where I was headed, you know, in my own career path. And so I started looking at becoming an entrepreneur, studied up, you know, what was required, how to do it, how to be successful, and read about everything I could read. Made the choice in 1991, left corporate America, got into real estate, struggled, and I struggled primarily because I didn't have a mentor or coach that really walked me through every step of the way. Somebody that's been there, somebody that knew exactly what to do. And so I realized then one of the key components of being successful in business is having a coach or a mentor. So anyway, long story short, started several companies, sold them, worked for some other companies, usually had an equity stake of some type. And then in 2001, company had ended, was in depression, suicide, couldn't get things going, and my world fell apart. And from that point on, started putting the pieces back together, and of course wrote a book that came out earlier this year. 2006, I got hooked up with a company called Visalis Sciences, and the CEO, three young guys started the company, and then I joined the company, and over the last 5.5 years, we've grown that company from virtually nothing to over a $250 million a year company and growing.
So much to just elaborate on there a little bit in your incredible story. First of all, you point out in some of your writings, and we should point out the title of your book is The Playful and Powerful Warrior Within You, How to Reclaim Your Personal Power and Live a Fulfilling Life of True Adventure. You say in your writings, though, that, and we see it all the time, that a lot of folks claim that there are these quote-unquote secrets to business success. You say no, there are fundamental laws and principles. You mentioned in some detail there the importance of a mentorship, especially when first beginning a business venture. What other absolutes are part of this process?
Well, one is getting around the right people, and the right people for who you want to associate yourself with, and people who truly believe in you. They don't have to be part of your business. However, it's always good to have a cheering section, behind you or with you. And so I would say, one of it is definitely, have a coach or mentor who's been there, who can help guide you. And regardless of how sharp you are, regardless of your experience, regardless of your education levels, it's always good to have someone to help you, maneuver through the ups and downs, and also help keep you accountable or keep you on a course. And then the other component is having the right people around you. And then I would say the third component is definitely choose action and be consistent in the actions that you choose on a daily basis, and have actually a solid game plan and be very focused. And what I found works for me is being focused in bite sizes. So let's say 90 days, and we'll talk about the 90-day challenge in a moment. Having 90-day goals, and here's where I'm at, and here's where I choose to go, and what's involved in accomplishing from where I'm at today to where I want to go.
Quick follow-up on the down point in your entrepreneurial career before we get to the 90-day challenge. You mentioned that you were severely depressed, that even suicidal at one point. Why do you think you fell that low, and what eventually pulled you out of it?
It was really ego, and which I talk about the ego in my book, and how it's how it evolves, and how it can be it can be a positive thing, it can be a negative thing. At its core, it's a negative thing. However, the ego can be a driver as well. And for me personally, I had a lot of success, from education to the military to corporate America, and all of a sudden, even as an entrepreneur, and all of a sudden I found myself unable to move forward because a business had ended, and thought I'd be able to get something going, and just, I was unable to get something going. And then the mental thing started kicking in my head, and I started playing the negative videos versus the positive videos. And what ended up getting me out of it was obviously God grabbing a hold of me, showing there was a better way, surrounding myself with the right people, and then reconnecting with one of my mentors, and which is Coach Dale Brown, who was the coach at LSU for 25 years, and reconnected with him. And so I started to choose those actions, and consequently, long story short, my book is about what got me from what got me from to that point, and then how I got out of that.
Fascinating story, just as you told it right there. Again, the title of the book, The Playful and Powerful Warrior Within You. On to the 90-day challenge now. You mentioned in describing the later stages of your career, your association and ongoing association with Visalis, and they're, of course, the ones behind the 90-day challenge. And you mentioned before that the 90-day challenge is a good idea in a lot of different areas of life. Talk a little bit about the 90-day health challenge specifically, and then how you think that can relate well to other areas of life.
Well, the 90-day challenge is more than just a health challenge. However, that's the core of it. And the core of it is, what would you like to do over the next 90 days to be more healthy? Whether it's to run a marathon, whether it's to lose weight, whether it's to put muscle on, whether it's to, I want to be fit so I can go work out. So whatever that may be is different for each person. However, what we found is that when people are focused for 90 days, they're more likely to achieve some of the goals that they've set. And it also shows that it's a bite-sized timeline. And then with the 90-day challenge, we have a community of like-minded people that have come together and will also help cheer you on, which is, again, another component we just talked about, being around the right people that are going to cheer you on, people that are going to be supportive. And it's a lot easier to join a challenge together with other people that have similar goals and aspirations. And so that's what the core of the 90-day challenge. And then the other component is, what would you like to change or transform in your life for the next 90 days from a personal standpoint? It could be, I'd like to make more money. I'd like to start a new business. And then obviously with the 90-day challenge, we have a business component but we can show people how to make extra money, save money, and also how to have more fun, especially in today's economy with where it's at. People are looking to have more fun, have more stability, save money, and also make money.
You mentioned the 90 days gives you an opportunity to see some real results from your work. Is it also generally about that time where different habits, if they're going to be implemented, usually take root?
Well, that's a great question. Typically, to overcome a habit, it requires 90 days to break a habit, and then also to create a new path for oneself requires typically 90 days. So we found 90 days is definitely that magical number, both for removing the obstacles and also putting the right fit for each person within that 90-day window. So yes.
So there's plenty of motivation there in a number of ways, but if you need a little bit more, there's also $10 million in cash, products, and prizes involved here. Explain that a little bit.
Because we've had so much success with the 90-day challenge, and for anyone listening, they can go to 90daychallenge.tv, like television, 90daychallenge.tv to learn more. Well, what we came up with is that we had these transformation makeovers. And for anyone that's watched TV and seen these different transformations out in Hollywood, we decided to do the same thing. And so anyone that entered into the 90-day challenge had a shot of being selected. And then we have different categories, different groups. You can do it within groups, you can do it within teams, you can do it individually, male, female, family. So we've got different categories. And what we do is that the winners, which are voted by the community, based on their story, based on their success, based on the results that they've received, we end up select those contestants, and then we actually do different giveaways, prizes. We send them out to L.A. We give them a Hollywood makeover, do photo shoots, whatever's happening at that time, and then at the end of that 90 days out in L.A. or Hollywood, they get to go to an event. They're flying first class. In some cases, they're flying on a private jet. We've got prizes. We've got free products available for participants, and then we also do different branding. So all of our winners, we actually do a whole marketing and branding campaign around them. And the ones that have won so far, they've turned into like these mini celebrities. And so it's a great thing, and everybody has an opportunity to get their fair share. And the company has committed $10 million worth of value over the next year.
It's fascinating to watch not only how many people respond to this, but how the way that you're going about the promotion as a small business, a lesson in and of itself, and just to watch it all come together and to learn about your career path has been very, very interesting indeed. Sir, thank you very much for your time. Best wishes for your continued success. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks a lot, Greg. Thanks for having me. And again, the listeners can go to 90daychallenge.tv to learn more.
90daychallenge.tv. You can also find more about GJ Reynolds at gjreynolds.net. I'm Greg Corumbus for Business Owners Toolkit. Find us at toolkit.com or on Twitter at Toolkit.